not make it out of it. Because I've almost been killed like 2 to 3 times. All my girlfriends are dead and gone. 2 of my girlfriends killed by clients. My other homegirl killed on County Road in Decatur. You just gotta be careful, because like people don't came after me, like, and then when you put your pictures, your numbers, your locations on the internet, you got people all from all around the world is watching you, and you got to understand that, and you have to be open for that, like, and you have to know how to protect yourself, like.
They say hate knows no bounds, no age, no reason, no logic. And in the case of Rasheeda Williams, known to her loved ones as Koko Da Doll, those words couldn't feel truer. Koko wasn't just another face in the crowd. She was a beloved transgender figure in Atlanta's LGBTQ+ community, a voice for the unheard, a personality that couldn't be contained, a story that needed to be told. So why did Koko's life end so violently in the most unsuspecting of places? And why are there still so many questions that remain unanswered? Koko was a fighter. Koko faced the harshest sides of life head-on, and still found a way to uplift others with her laughter, her presence, and her resilience. But in the end, none of that could protect her. As her family and friends are left to grieve, her story now stands as a reminder of a society still battling with acceptance, justice, and understanding. But was her death simply a tragic escalation? Or is there more to uncover, perhaps something even darker? Rasheeda Williams, known as Koko Da Doll, to those who knew and loved her, was more than just a 35-year-old transgender woman living her best life in Atlanta. She was a light, a source of hope and strength to others in Atlanta's LGBTQ+ community, and someone who was finally starting to see her dreams come true. Her role in Kokomo City, a Sundance-winning documentary, wasn't just another gig. It was her chance to tell her truth, to share her life and struggles with the world. Koko wasn't afraid to be open, even when life was far from easy, and that honesty resonated with people. For Koko, this film was her legacy, her voice elevated to a platform that might actually make a difference. But only a short time after achieving the kind of visibility she had long hoped for, her life came to a violent, tragic end. She was found shot, left lifeless near a strip mall on Martin Luther King Jr. Drive in Atlanta, a place she likely walked by or passed through countless times, a familiar backdrop to her life. As news of her death spread, the community was left reeling.
Rasheeda Williams, also known as Koko Da Doll, was found shot to death Tuesday night at a strip mall on MLK Drive in southwest Atlanta.
It's sickening and sad.
Jim Farmer is the director of the Out on Film Festival.
Some of these people.
Earlier this month, they showed Kokomo City, a documentary featuring Williams and 3 other black trans sex workers as they navigate life in Atlanta and New York.
I was just really captivated by her story, her drive, how she was just so charismatic, and it's just to hear yesterday about her murder was just infuriating.
Williams' death is the 3rd violent act against a transgender woman in the city this year. 37-year-old Ashley Burton was shot and killed at the City Park Apartments on Fairburn 2 weeks ago. In January, an unidentified trans woman was critically shot on Highland Avenue. Investigators say the 3 incidents are not connected.
We're no different than anyone else.
Tracy McDaniel is the founder of Juxtaposed Center for Transformation, a human and civil rights advocacy group for trans people. She says living as a trans person is dangerous, especially for brown and black trans women.
There are people who are afraid to be who they are. There are people who are afraid to walk out of their doors.
McDaniel says anti-trans rhetoric and initiatives, political or not, only fuel violence. She says until there are real repercussions, trans people will continue to be targets.
We're not going anywhere. We're not going to stop fighting for our right to live as human beings.
They had lost not just a friend, but a symbol of resilience, a woman who lived her truth despite the odds stacked against her. The investigation quickly led to an arrest. A 17-year-old boy named Jamarcus Jernigan, who turned himself in to authorities, but claims he's innocent. With his mother publicly asserting his innocence, questions began to swirl. What really happened that night? Was Koko targeted simply for who she was? Did an argument spiral out of control? Or is there something we're missing entirely? The tragedy of Koko's death isn't only that her life was taken too soon. The deeper pain lies in the unanswered questions and the chilling sense of uncertainty that's now cast over her story.
Defending her teenage son. He's charged in the murder of a woman in Atlanta. His mom says her son did not pull the trigger. Koko Da Doll was found shot along Martin Luther King Jr. Drive near the Hamilton E. Holmes MARTA station 2 weeks ago. 17-year-old Jamarcus Jernigan is charged with murder. Now Jernigan's mother is refuting many points in the investigation, saying they'd never heard of Koko until her son was accused of killing her. Cody Alcorn spoke with the mom and detectives who say their break in the case came from surveillance video that captured the deadly shooting.
17-year-old Jamarcus Jernigan's mom says they woke up on April 26th and saw her son's picture plastered on newscasts and social media.
He said, I'm gonna go down here and clear my name.
The pictures are still frames from surveillance video inside this Chevron on MLK Jr. Drive. The timestamp isn't shown, so we can't confirm the date and time, but there's no question it's Jernigan.
He was coming from the train station to go home because he was with his girlfriend. And he stopped by the gas station.
It's the white hoodie and emblem on the front of it, along with a pair of slides we can't see in the pictures released. His murder warrant states ties him to a homicide about 500 feet from the gas station.
My son don't have a gun at all.
Jernigan is accused of shooting Koko Da Doll on April 18th. His murder warrant states at 9:50 p.m. Koko is seen on surveillance video near the pool area of the Peaks at MLK apartment complex. APD released this video showing the guy she met with just before she was killed. He told detectives he met Koko at the entrance of the complex where she asked to use a charger. Police say video shows Koko leaving the complex by herself, and then multiple shots are heard in the video. Turns out the shooting was caught on video by security cameras outside the Wendy's next door. Detectives say the shooter's clothing in the video matches the hoodie Jernigan's wearing inside the nearby Chevron, but his mom says there's no way her son killed someone.
So you think if he actually did kill her, he would?
Yes, he would. Yes, he would.
Tell you he did.
Yes, he would. Because my son is not like that. I'm going to clear that up right now. Stop saying he turned himself in because he murdered somebody. No, he did not murder anybody. My son went down there to clear his name.
We looked through the entire warrant and a motive is never mentioned. A witness told detectives she was waiting at the bus and saw Koko arguing with a man. She said Koko was crossing the road still arguing when shots were fired. When the woman looked up, she saw Koko in the road.
In a time when violence against transgender individuals, especially transgender women of color, is disturbingly common, Koko's death serves as yet another horrifying example of the risks faced by this community. And what makes this story even more complex is Jamarcus's denial of the crime, as well as his mother's steadfast insistence that her son couldn't possibly be responsible. A single gunshot wound ended Koko's life in an instant. The city and her community mourned, but they also demanded answers. How could someone with so much love and energy be so brutally taken from the world? What drove someone to pull the trigger? If Jamarcus didn't kill Koko, then who did? And if he's guilty, then why did he do it? This is where the story hits a painful and confusing wall. The police haven't provided a clear motive, and without more evidence, the details of that night remain elusive. Was it a hate crime? An argument that took a deadly turn? Or could there be another explanation we're still missing? The arrest of Jamarcus Jernigan initially seemed like a breakthrough. For Koko's loved ones and supporters, this was a glimmer of hope that maybe justice would be served, that her family wouldn't be left in the dark. For Koko's family, this uncertainty is agonizing. Each day without answers feels like another betrayal, another reminder that the justice system doesn't always prioritize cases like these. If Jamarcus is guilty, then there must be accountability. But if he's innocent, then there's someone else out there who took Koko's life, someone who may never be brought to justice. For Koko's loved ones, the wait for answers has become its own form of torment.
Probably like 20 to 25 times. And I was like, damn, why she ain't answering the phone?
I don't believe she went there by herself. I think whoever she was with, she trusted them. Atlanta is getting out of hand.
We're regular people, we're human beings, we breathe just like everyone else. And
through Kokomo City, she gave the world a rare look into the life of a black transgender woman, showing her joys, her struggles, and her dreams. And yet, her life was cut short in a senseless act of violence. As for Jamarcus, his fate is now in the hands of the justice system. If he's guilty, he must be held accountable. But if he's innocent, we're left to wonder who else could have committed this terrible act. To honor Koko's story and keep her memory alive, hit subscribe or watch the next video to learn about another life taken too soon.